Hi, I'm Diane Talbot, and I am a tutor, a private tutor at Spiral Skills Tutoring in Boulder, Colorado. And I use a lot of word studies with my students in combination with doing Orton Gillingham tutoring. And I have a lot of tutors who have asked me how I go about doing my word studies with students. And so I'm going to make a few very short videos showing some of the different things that I use to help other tutors, especially ones who are doing online tutoring all of a sudden because of COVID. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm on Zoom. I'm going to share my screen. And with my student, I will share remote control if it's possible. It's not always possible depending on what device they're using. If they're using a Chromebook or an iPad, they may not be able to use the remote control function. If they can't, I'm going to explain to you some of the workarounds that I have for that. But the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to WordSearcher. And this is neilramsden.co.uk and spelling searcher. But if you just put into a Google search WordSearcher, and it's the one that comes up that has Neil Ramsden in the name, and you just click on that. So this is a really cool device. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger just to make sure you can see what's on here. So there are a couple of functions that I use all the time, and most of them I don't. To find a word pattern anywhere in a word. So if I wanted to find all the words that had run in them, I could just write run. And then I do go. And then right over here, you're going to notice there are all the words that have RUN sequence in it. Some of those will have to do with the word run, some of them won't, such as rune. It's going to pull up any word that is in the database, which is a lot of them, that has that matching sequence of numbers. Now, if I wanted to make sure that run was at the beginning of the word, I would put this little caret at the beginning. So now it's only going to pull up RUN at the beginning of a word. Now, what if I wanted to find a certain suffix? I wanted all the words that end with the suffix ION, but I want to find that with ones that have a T in front of it, what a lot of teachers will call the TION or shun suffix. It's really the ION, but I want to find the words that have the TION. So I'm going to do this, and then I put in the little $sign. And this will pull up all the words that end in TION. So those are the ones that are the most useful to me. And really great to be able to pull up 1,246 matches. It's going to be a lot of words. Sometimes you're going to pull up a lot of words, and then you have to do some weeding out quickly. One thing that I want you to be aware of is that it will pull up any word, just whether it is an appropriate word that you want to be discussing with your student. For example, this one is going to pull up erection, and I really don't want to be discussing that with a 12-year-old boy. So I'm quicker at reading, and I can usually just get rid of words like that. But if you're really worried about it, if there's something, think ahead. If there's something you're going to want to get out, you're going to pull it out beforehand. So I'm just going to do a quick one. I want to do a word study with a student on the word bake. We've been studying the silent E ending that makes the vowel say its name, so B-A-K-E-E, a CVC pattern. I'm also going to add on some compound words, and I usually do compound words with a motion, and to make sure we keep these multisensory. And then if I'm putting a suffix or a prefix on, I add the 2 fingers. So if I look up the word bake, B-A-K-E, which is the base of the word baking, it's going to pull up all of the ones that have the E in it. But you're going to want to be careful because there are some places where when we have bake and we add on the suffix ing, we're going to replace that E with the ing because it's a vowel suffix. So in order to find a wider range of words, I'm going to pull off the E and search for B-A-K. And that gives me a few more words. This is a small one, so I wanted to show you on a small one to show you how that I go about getting the words. So then I just take these words and I do Control Copy, and I go and I open up a new document on Google Docs. I will usually name it whatever my base is or whatever it is we're studying. Sometimes we're not studying a base, sometimes we're studying a suffix or a spelling pattern or something like that. And then I'll usually put student name. That way I can easily find it, and I've done a lot of the same studies with different students. So if I put in their name in my search, I can easily pull up what I'm doing. And if they do not have a shared device with me, I will go to the share, and then I can share it with their email, and that way they can open it up on their own device and edit with me. Or even if they do have remote control, especially for older students, this means that we can both work on the document simultaneously without fighting over the cursor, which is always fun. So you can share that, and I definitely recommend that, especially with the older students that have caught on to it, because they can move on their own, and then they just ask if they're having a problem, and you can kind of work together, because some of these matrices get huge, and so you want to work together. So then I paste that onto my document. I usually make it bigger just because it's much easier to work with. And then I say, where are you going to take it apart? Where are you going to put in your pluses? And they're going to have to put the E back in and put in their pluses. They can use a cut and paste feature if they like to be able to make this a little quicker. Put the E back in. Whoops, I always do that. There we go. One thing you're going to want to be aware of is that when you use a Google Doc, it does recapitalize every word. It doesn't matter on your base word. When we put it into Mini Matrix Maker, it's not going to matter whether your base word is capitalized or not. But if you have something like clam bake, and then you move on, and it capitalizes it, which it just didn't, you would want to uncapitalize it, because that is going to, there we go. Now I did it. It automatically capitalizes it. I don't want that capitalized, because if I capitalize it, then I am going to make that into a base word. Now in this case, I actually want it to be capitalized because clam is a word by itself, so it is a compound word. If it's a word that is also a base, I want it capitalized. You'll see why when I get to showing you Mini Matrix Maker, when you want something capitalized, when you don't. Basically, if it's a base, you're going to want it capitalized. If it's a prefix or a suffix, you don't want it capitalized, because Mini Matrix Maker is going to bold any bases, and that helps you to be able to see how the words fit together. So you can have your base word in here capitalized or not, even though Mini Matrix Maker tells you you need to capitalize it, you don't. And so you go through, and the student can do this. You would be amazed at how quickly even a 7-year-old learns to take apart these words and analyze them. I always make sure that I have them add back in the E and then move their suffix ER over, just because we want to make sure that they understand what the underlying structure of the word is, rather than stealing the E from the ER suffix and then adding an E back onto the ER. Now this one is interesting because this I turns to Y when we add the ES to the end of it. One way to know whether to use an S or an ES is whether it makes a syllable. So baker ease. I don't know. That one really doesn't. But I think it's there. I could be wrong on this though. So don't hold me to that one. I'm going to stick with that though, because it is there when I change the Y, when the I toggles to, the Y toggles to an I. Sorry, my wording is hard today. So this is what I would do to use WordSearcher. And I'm going to stop here just because I want to break these videos up so that if you only need one portion of it or you just want to watch little bits, that you can see them. So I'm going to end this video and I'm going to begin another video, which will be how to use the mini matrix maker using the word list that I've already made. And so hopefully I will see you soon.